The news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
My name is Joshua Van Slykeman. Good day. Welcome to your Friday, January 6, 2023 main newscast. Let's get to the news in details. The Oil and Gas Governance Network, OGGN, a non-profit organization based in New York, is calling on the Guyana government to perform independent audits of oil companies' operations. The group said this is vital so that the state actors may have a clear and impartial understanding of the environmental implications for citizens and determine the requisite safeguards needed. Equally critical, said OGGN, which is backed by the expertise of several Guyanese in the diaspora, is that the government makes critical pieces of environmental data public for ongoing analysis. In one of its commentaries published on its website, the advocacy group said it is important for citizens to understand how oil and gas operations can affect their lives. In other news, since taking the reins of office in August of 2020, the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration has not held cabinet press briefings which serve to inform the media and the nation by extension of critical decisions made on contracts and other issues. In addition to cabinet press briefings being dead and the administration being dismissive in past on its return, President Ali has not addressed the media regarding critical developments in the oil and gas sector. In place of facing the independent media, the president has developed a fondness for Facebook Lives and the issuance of statements. While he's an advocate for local content, the president has been more open to engaging international media as opposed to independent Guyanese press. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat has never officially engaged with the media to address key concerns on transparency and accountability or to speak on upcoming developments. In many instances, local media operatives are left to learn about the developments in the oil sector, such as the exploration programs offshore for a given year from companies as opposed to his ministry. Despite agreeing to have oil companies recoup insurance sums associated with the development of local oil and gas sector, Guyana is still unaware of the real value it is paying ExxonMobil affiliate Esso to ensure its multi-million-dollar assets being used in the production of the country's crude. This is the current situation as local insurers continue to lament the overseas placement of insurance policies by the Stabber Block operator we had reported on various contracts that Exxon would have entered into with the international companies for supply of equipment, materials, and even services. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. A demolition exercise of houses at Mocha Arcade Squatting Area, East Bank, Demerara on Thursday left 2 police officers injured, while 3 persons are currently in police custody. This was confirmed by Commander of Regional Division 4B Senior Superintendent Mahindra Singh. On Wednesday, the Ministry of Housing had moved to demolish several houses at the squatting area, which continued on Thursday, and yesterday during the exercise of such, the team was met with resistance by residents who attempted to block the men from breaking down their houses. Just before we head to a short break, a police corporal was on Thursday slapped with 3 counts of laundering millions he allegedly stole from the police force back in 2019. Soku has been investigating the policeman identified as Raul Richard Haynes of Hydron East Bank, Essequibo. That should be some 2 years now for money laundering. Enough evidence was gathered against him. This is your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will return after the break. Stay with us.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. 26-year-old Romaine Travis Watson, who is before the court in charges related to carjacking, was on Thursday slapped with further charges after he was caught early this week with a carload of car doors. Police said that the 63 Kurukuru College Road Suicide Linden Highway resident was busted with 4 car doors in his possession. He was on Thursday remanded to prison. The accused appeared at the Vigilance Magistrates Court, where he pleaded not guilty and was remanded to prison until February 24th. The PPPC administration has utilized a portion of the $20 million World Bank loan to improve its access to regarding materials on the oil and gas sector. According to documents published by the financial institution, $32.194 million was used to hire VLEX. That should be $32,194 was used to hire VLEX Justice Limited of the United Kingdom to supply legal software for Guyana's oil and gas sector. This is expected to allow more efficient legal representation through access to up-to-date and gas articles, journals, and books. The 2-year contract was signed on August 24, 2022. In other news, the police commander of the Georgetown District, Simon McBean, on Thursday confirmed that a policeman is under investigation by the Force's Office of Professional of Responsibility for allegedly shooting and beating his uncle-in-law. On Sunday last, the rank, according to reports, is believed to be attached to the Guyana Police Force Special Branch Unit. Reports are that he reportedly lost his school and shot his girlfriend's uncle to the leg during a family dispute. However, up to this time, the Force's Cooperative Communication Unit responsible for disseminating information to the media was still unsure if the rank was placed under close arrest or open arrest. In fact, the GPF is yet to issue a statement on the shooting incident involving one of its officers. Nevertheless, the victim, identified only as Adams, alleged that the policeman was in a heavily tinted car with other occupants parked on his driveway when he knocked one of the windows and asked what they were doing there. The policeman, he claimed, got angry, exited the car and shot him to the leg before beating him up with his weapon to the head and face, leaving him with a broken jaw. Opposition members of Parliament Valda Lawrence and Dr. Karen Cummins, along with Opposition Chief Scrutineer Carol Smith Joseph, all appeared before the Presidential Elections Commission of Inquiry on Thursday and exercised their right to remain silent. They were summoned by the Commission to appear and offer testimony. Lawrence and Smith Joseph were represented by attorney Nigel Hughes, who informed the Commission of Inquiry of his 2 clients' position not to provide information to the Commission. Hughes noted that both women are before the criminal court in regard to their conduct at the elections. He said that given that the women are still before the court in the matter, they have been advised that it is best that they do not testify before the commission. And finally, at this time, in a memorandum on Thursday, the Ministry of Education announced that no student must be sent home from school because his or her hairstyle is perceived to be in breach of the school's rule. The memo reminded the head teachers' main priority is to ensure all learners are in school and that they are being taught with an aim of reducing any future learning loss. There should be any further learning loss. The ministry noted, however, that in any instance, if a learner is deemed to have an inappropriately hairstyle, then the school must invite the student's parent or guardian to discuss the infraction. It was reported that the move to have the hair rules in schools change started back in March 2022, after the decision was made to allow female students and teachers to wear their hair how they choose to on one day in observance of International Women's Day. Page 7 of your blunt comes up after this. Stay with us. Today's blunt is entitled New Demerara River Bridge, Let the Boring Begin. The loan is for 172 million US dollar, slightly over 34 billion Ghana dollar. It is from China for the New Demerara River Bridge. Our hope is that the bridge doesn't turn out to be like the CGIA project, that is millions, then more millions, and still more millions, and even ending, never ending, never ending. Just like the CGIA extension, the new bridge could be two things: a milking cow for the PPP and a financial black hole for taxpayers. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. For these stories and much more, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, Monday to Saturday for just $100 and Sundays for just $150. Or feel free to head across to our website at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com. Follow us at Kaieteur Radio on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Kaieteur Radio for these stories and much more. Have a great remainder to your Friday. Encourage you to play it safe out there. Coming up immediately after this newscast is your Friday edition of the National Outlook.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Welcome to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM in this, the first week of the brand new year 2023. I'm GHK Lal on the National Outlook. It's January 6th. The president spoke to an Al Jazeera interviewer, and he overflowed. He overflowed with what is going on here and how it's all wonderful. You know, he told the Al Jazeera interviewer that oil revenues are benefiting all Guyanese. Well, Mr. President, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Guyanese have benefited. I have benefited. I have received a cash grant or something like that, $25,000. And I think most people have. But some have received more than some. Some have received much more than some. And that's where I am. And that's what I want to point out today by saying, yes, the president spoke about the children getting vouchers for uniform and I think transportation and about old age pensioners collecting an increase. And yes, there was an increase, but I'll tell you, Mr. President, $3,000? $3,000, sir? In an oil-rich country? You gotta be kidding me, aren't you? I mean, how do the Guyanese old age pensioner recipient exist on $28,000 a month when some of them have no other source of income? Mr. President, yes, there was an increase. That's a fact. And I am not going to contest that. But $3,000 you're going to give and boast about that before an international audience? If they really know the details of many of those things you talked about, I think you'd look a little less huge as you're making things out to be in terms of the benefit to all Guyanese. But again, let me go in a different direction now. We talk about scholarships, good thing. 150,000 Guyanese being trained as coders and investing in free education to come. And I see that the Vice President, the Honorable Vice President, said we are committed or something like that to free university education before the end of our first term or by the end of our first term. Good. But here's this. Those things are good, but they don't do anything for us now. Now when we need to put something on the table. When we need to give the children who started back to school this week something a little bit more nutritious or a little bit bigger portion in what they're taking out. Listen, I know about going to school and not being able to buy anything. I mean, I had enough, but I was not able to buy anything. Whilst my friends were buying popsicles, I had to do without. I just didn't have the money. My people didn't have it to spare. So the president speaks about roads and how we're building a lot of roads across the country. Yes, billions of dollars in roads and bridges and wells and schools and whatever. Roads are where the money is, Mr. President, and you know that. That's where you give back to your cronies. That's where the PPP rewards its crooked cabal. That's where the Guyanese taxpayer, that's me and you who are listening, are being robbed with cost overruns, with corruption, with who gets and who shouldn't have gotten. And these are the things that I am saying that the president should really not speak about, because as much as they make for good headlines, when you peel back the onion, our eyes start to cry. Our eyes start to tear up. And everybody knows what I mean when you talk about an onion. So really, the president speaks on one side whilst leaving out all the other things. Well, presidents do that. All the rotten, dirty things that are beneath the cosmetics. Yes, his people get a lot, meaning his cronies, his government's cronies, and whilst the ordinary man in the street is left to manage on a pittance. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook, and do have a good weekend.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
We done try this ready. One shot tiny. Tight, girl, pan the gods tell